Welcome to the Home Group Podcast, where we discuss everything addiction, recovery, mental health. I am Flip.
And I am Luke. Our generation of men, you're not allowed to have feelings.
We're going to talk about things that are uncomfortable, things that are scary, because when you talk about it, you take away its power.
The only thing that's going to keep me clean is me not wanting to be who I was then.
We was in the trenches, now look how we out here ballin'. Popped up in the max, now we flooring in the fall.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Home Group Podcast. I am Flip. Clean date, April Fools, 2016.
And I'm Luke. Clean date, October 11th, 2017.
Wow, that was intense. I like that. First time we used dual weapons.
Yeah, well, that was a singular weapon. It was just yours.
Yeah.
I borrowed it.
Exactly. Episode 15. We made it. 15. That's it.
We made it to 15.
We haven't made it through 15.
We haven't made it, yeah.
That's a whole nother ball of wax. Excited about this episode because we get to talk about one of our patrons brought up a very valid question. Okay?
Yes.
Again, even though we know this and we were both on the same page about it, we probably should have read it again right before we aired because
I've been saying that my whole life.
it just makes too much sense.
Yeah.
This is what I believe it said. She went to a treatment center. Treatment center was one that required their people with opioid addictions to go on Suboxone. She has been caught in that rabbit hole for a while.
Which is a lot of treatment centers now.
Oh,
That's everyone.
They're doing it at the new jail, at Sarasota County Jail.
Yeah.
Where was it?
Yeah.
God bless.
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, I used to have to go in there and lie about everything that I was doing just to try to get some meds to at least make me not so sick.
Yeah, you know how hard it was for me to give up a tray to somebody for 3 days straight?
Oh, God. Bro, I used to tell them I was a crazy alcoholic.
Yeah.
They're like, there's no alcohol in your system, like, ever. What do you mean? But I just did it because they gave you the lithium or whatever it was.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Something to get through.
Something to try to get through. So she's caught in that rabbit hole. She's starting to wean off, but she kind of wanted our take on the whole Suboxone, which you then could group into Subutex, which you could, if you wanted to, group in methadone.
Yeah, it's buprenorphine.
Yeah.
Is the common drug in both Subutex and Suboxone.
Yeah, and methadone was used as kind of that stepping stone to get off of opiates, but if you're an addict like us,
yeah, I will turn anything into an addiction.
Anything.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
I'll touch on that.
Okay.
So to speak, later.
Okay. I know that this particular topic hits close to home for you because you were caught in that rabbit hole for a while.
Yeah, back in 2000 and let's say probably 2013, I got off of opiates and other harder drugs. And I went right into a doctor's office, and I said, this is what I'm doing. And they wrote me a script for Subutex. And the way it was told to me was that this is this super drug that is, you're not going to feel any symptoms coming off of it. It's amazing. And then cut to 4 years later, and I'm in this jail, this buprenorphine jail, this prison. And I could not get out of it. Just a horrible. It was horrible.
I know for me, right, when I got arrested in 2012, and I had made the decision that I was actually going to give recovery a shot because I had just commenced from a rehab that I didn't take serious, was ripping and running for, I don't know, solid 2 months before I caught new charges and went back to jail. And my mom had a coworker at the time whose daughter had same kind of issues that I did. And she had been going to the methadone clinic and was on methadone. And my mom, again, not knowing about this life, was like, you know, you might want to look into it. And I played with that thought for probably about 6 months because I already knew that that was kind of like a free pass to get high. You know what I mean? Legally.
Right.
And luckily, along the way, through a lot of self-reflection, like I couldn't lie to myself anymore. And I already knew that that would open up the floodgates. So I opted not to do it. I've had my fair share of Suboxone and Subutex and had runs with that. My personal opinion, and again, we probably should always state this beforehand.
Right, yeah.
We are not healthcare professionals. No. We are not clinical social workers. We are not...
Astronaut, maybe.
Maybe.
Doctor of mathematics, possibly.
The probability is high on that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But this is all just...
Yeah. Opinion.
Opinion.
Totally opinion, right? I told myself in active addiction for so long that there was no way that I could function a normal life without some sort of substance, right? I torn ligament in my shoulder from playing sports, bad back, blah, 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 which, by the way, bad back, sorry, I wanted to ask this. I went to the gym this morning, pulled a muscle in my back. What was I doing?
Arms.
Really? I thought for sure you would get that. What do I always injure my back doing at the gym?
Shrugs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was doing shrugs this morning.
It's been so long for me. I just... It's like
I know.
Foreign language now.
Yeah,
I start talking about all this gym equipment. I don't know.
Yeah, we know. It's been a long time since you've been in the gym, Luke.
What that even means anymore.
Yeah, so I was doing shrugs, and I went light to warm up.
Yeah.
Threw on decent weight. Third shrug in. My whole back sounded like one of them poppers on 4th of July.
God, dude. You remember when I folded up like an accordion right there in front of everybody? That was the most embarrassing scene of my life, dude.
You locked up.
I said, bro, you have to carry me out of here right now before I shit my pants. I'm terrified. Okay? I'm fucking terrified, bro. Get the car, bro.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's what I did. So back to what I was saying.
Yeah. Pain, back pain, social anxiety.
Of course.
Big one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't be around anybody.
I can't hold a job. I can't go to family functions.
Yeah.
I can't do anything unless I have this.
Can't even hold a cell phone.
Until you get clean and get some clean time, right? And then you're like, oh shit, this Tylenol these people talk of actually does something if you're in pain.
Yeah.
Well, this Advil actually works when you don't abuse drugs every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm kind of feeling something.
Yeah. And so, in my personal opinion, it is nothing more than a trap. Now, you're in a interesting situation when you're in a treatment facility that is part of their curriculum, that you have to take this. So I can't speak to that. What I will say is it is possible to live a life listen, I was a bottom of the barrel junkie.
Yeah.
I have shot dope with toilet water. I have pulled over on the side of the road and, oh, look, that looks like a nice puddle.
Breach. I've scraped it off the windshield.
The first time that, like, I got bad on drugs, okay, and I was doing everything, my room had a popcorn ceiling.
Yeah, oh, that's horrible.
If you've ever done cocaine or crack and you've been around a popcorn ceiling, then you can relate.
Talk about shrugs.
Oh, my God.
Talk about squats.
Oh, my God. I had a comb, a literal comb going through the rug. Oh my God, look at that.
Flip was all legs, boy.
Listen.
Uh,
And so, if it is possible for me to live a normal, crazy life, I have not stopped since 5:15 this morning. I have not stopped.
yeah.
And if it is possible for me to do this stuff with caffeine, some nicotine, and some water, you don't need it, right? You don't need Suboxone. You don't need Subutex. That's just my opinion.
Right.
That is just my opinion. It is a crutch.
It caused me more problems than anything. It just delayed the inevitable. I rode that wave until finally it was crystal methamphetamines. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. It just, I wasn't working. You can't, it's hard to work a program while you're getting, I mean, people will front, this might not be a popular take, but getting high.
Mm-hmm.
You're still getting high.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion. And I couldn't bring myself into a meeting and pick up a white key tag knowing that I was on Subutex.
Yeah.
It just didn't work for me
Yeah.
because, I wasn't like hiding it. And maybe, that was the problem, is that everybody knew. And I felt like, and maybe that played into a lot of like me caring what other people think and stuff, which is something that I worked on a lot too. Like Mama always said, it's none of my business what other people think of me. Shout out Mama Patty.
Shout out Mama Patty.
Yeah, so I think I agree with you.
Here's my thing, right? So like alcohol has never been a thing for me, right? So people are like, why can't you have a glass of wine? Why can't you have a beer, right? The reality is, if I were to drink a beer right now, I'm not worried that I'm going to wake up tomorrow and be craving a beer. That's
Right.
not what I'm worried about.
No.
The problem is when I put anything in my body, it is opening that door
Yeah.
and awakening that beast. And so I'm not worried that, if I have this sip of alcohol, my life's over. I'm worried that if I have that sip of alcohol, next thing you know, I'm walking down MLK.
Yeah. I'm butt naked in a dumpster behind a Turkish bathhouse somewhere playing patty cake with a couple of fellows. couple of gentlemen. What? Is that where you were going? Is that where you go? Is that where your addiction takes you? Or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turkish bathhouse.
Yeah.
Patty
You know
cake,
what? I would like
gentlemen.
to touch on something real quick.
Okay.
So to speak. And it's not that. It's recently we had something horrible that happened in the community.
Okay.
And I won't name any names, but we lost a life. A baby lost a life.
Ooh.
And to talk about it,
Okay.
because I see a lot of people online commenting about it, and and there's a lot of hate, and I think there's a big misconception about what an addict will do to get high and what an addict will do in active addiction, as opposed to who that person was in their recovery. You know what I mean? Because that child that lost their life could have easily have been my kid, and it's really hard for me to say that, but there were times that my son stepped on broken glass on the floor from a meth pipe that broke. You know what I mean? There were times in my life that I'm not proud of, that I was able to make it through, and through this program I'm able to get my kids back in my life and get them to trust me again. But it's a horrible thing, but I think that we should not forget that an addict in active addiction will do anything to get high. Like, this program is a selfish program. Addiction is tenfold. Nothing matters. Right?
So it is and I respect your stance on it. I understand where you're coming from. It's, and this is just me being honest, right? Sometimes it's hard for me to look at a situation like that, right? Because the only good thing that I've done, that I did in active addiction, was not have a kid.
Right.
So I can't speak to a situation that I personally haven't been in. This is my area of frustration with the situation. And it's not just on them. The system failed those kids because the system was called a dozen times and didn't do anything. And now a baby's not here.
Right.
Right? My frustration lies with the group of people, because this is one of my biggest things in recovery, and this is why I don't fuck with a lot of people. People enable other people's piss poor behavior so much. It's that saying, you're going to enable somebody to death, and that's what happened, right? And that's why, like, I mean, listen, we live in a day and age where, like, if I look at you too hard, cops might get called.
Right.
Let alone anything. But I think that, like, people could really use a good ass whooping, because Lord knows I needed it. I needed a good ass whooping to wake up like, hold on. Let me snap back to reality.
Sometimes I want to whoop your ass.
Oh, God. Join the club. You know what I mean? The people in their lives enabled them to death.
Yeah.
Enabled them in that situation because, and there's a bunch of them that, like, get their kids back, and people just start giving them shit. And then a month later, everything's on Facebook Marketplace for sale.
Yeah.
And then they lose everything. Kids get taken away. They go somewhere. They come back. What happens? Same thing.
Yeah.
Bro, I've only been clean 7 years. I've seen some of these cycles 12, 13 times of this shit happening. My frustration, so I have frustration with the system. I have frustration with their support group. Because I promise you, you know what I mean? And your family, you fall off tomorrow. All right, let's come up with a game plan. How are we going to figure this out?
Right.
Okay? We'll figure out a game plan. We stick to it. You fall off that path. All right, listen, Luke. We got to figure this out. Enough is enough. You cross that line again, like, I have to distance myself.
It's just sad, man. It's sad because it's like there was no. I know the feeling, bro. I know the feeling of helplessness when you're looking at your kids and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. I have no idea how I'm going to get out of this situation.
Like I said, I feel like I don't have a right to have an opinion because I haven't been in that situation. My frustration with them is they have been in the recovery community.
Yeah.
And they know better. They chose to stay. And listen, that's a hard thing, because when I went to rehab, I knew what recovery was. I got out. I decided to get high.
Right.
I didn't use the resources.
I've known what recovery was my whole life.
I know you have. I don't know how. I knew you knew what it was, but I don't know how. Like, there was a point in time,
right.
Both of those individuals were plugged in.
Right. Yeah. I didn't know how powerful it was. I knew it was there.
Yeah. And they were plugged in. And so, like, to continue to bring babies into that situation, because they have multiple kids.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking. It's devastating.
I just don't know how you bounce back from something like that.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, like, me.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can.
Yeah, no,
That's heavy. That's heavy. Like, how do you, and just the shit that I did. Right? Stealing. The crimes I committed, the people that I hurt.
Yeah, robbing my mom. All the little things.
Bro, I lied when I was living up in Jersey. I used to have to walk to this payphone to call my mom to ask her for money. And I was so down and out. I'll never forget it. It was like 9 o'clock at night. I call her. I said, Mom, my apartment building caught on fire. And they're telling me like I gotta go get a hotel. I don't have money for a hotel. And my poor mom gets out of bed, goes puts money in my bank account so I could take it out of the ATM to get high. You know what I mean? And I was living with my drug dealer. And like the guilt and the shame from that is tremendous. Especially because the relationship I have with my mom. I can't imagine what that guilt and that shame is like.
Didn't even happen to me. I'm not even like involved in it, and that's all I could think about.
But regardless of our stances, here's the question. Do you think that because they are or were in active addiction and because they're addicts, they shouldn't have to pay the full price for what they did?
Well,
because I just saw a case, a dude killed his baby, 45 years, sober.
Right.
45 years. So my question is, do they have to pay the price or do they get some sort of pass because they're an addict?
I think to them, it's not going to matter. I think they've suffered the greatest loss that you could possibly suffer at the hands of their addiction. And I think that right now, weeks later, they're just now coming out of it, and it's finally sinking in. And I don't think it matters to them, but I think that it should be addressed. I think that it should be addressed, and I think that it should be addressed because that baby does not die in vain then. It should be addressed, and people should see the signs, and maybe it might just touch a couple people and help them if they're in a similar situation.
You know, the biggest thing to me and what drives me absolutely crazy, right? And I wish there was something we can do. And I'm sure that there's something you can do. I just don't know how to start it. But like the system, that shit's got to get fixed. Because I'm telling you right now, I go across the street and I break into that house. Cops are at my house to arrest me before I get home.
What are you talking about, bro? If I cross the street, cops are going to arrest me, dog.
What are you talking about? We're talking about it right now. There's a cop walking up the driveway.
Yeah, bro. We're about to go to jail right now talking about this.
So and this is just the fucked up part. And this is where, and listen, I was not expecting this episode to be heavy. I really wasn't.
Yeah, no,
I wasn't, but we're here.
Yeah.
We're here. And this is part of the process.
Yeah.
The system, and you look at it, a majority of those people are overworked and underpaid in that system.
Right.
They have a caseload that you, me, everybody we know probably couldn't handle one of their caseloads.
Right.
And there's hundreds of people like that. I still think that's bullshit. I still think it's bullshit. Because that system failed those kids, there is an 8-month-old baby that is dead.
Yeah.
Those kids, they should have never been allowed to have custody of those kids with the rap sheet that they racked up with. I'm trying not to name the services because I don't want to get flagged or,
Right.
But, like, come on. Like, we're not just talking, like, one time, like, you heard some loud noises so you came to check on the kids. We're talking about multiple failed drug tests. We're talking about multiple incidents where, kids weren't in school or weren't in daycare and, kids are sick and, like, all kinds of crazy shit. Like, when is the time that... Because that's what that system's in place for. That system is supposed to be in place to protect those that can't protect themselves.
Right.
And when it is as flawed of a system as it is, when do you step back as a society and say, listen, something's got to change here. Because I tell you what I'm tired of. I'm tired of turning on the news and seeing what Kanye's doing.
Yeah.
I'm tired of turning on the news and hearing, one of the Kardashians
Yeah, I'm not.
who is having a baby. I don't give a shit
trying
about
to
that.
keep up with the Kardashians anymore.
No.
I can barely keep up with myself. Come on, dude.
So, like, when as a society do we stand up and say, like, enough is enough? Like, we have to reshift our focus on what really matters.
I think it takes something like this for that to happen. And unfortunately, everything does happen for a reason. It's facts. Everything that has happened in my life happened for a reason because I'm here right now.
Yeah.
And it takes something as drastic as this to happen in order for change to happen. So,
You know, it's a scary world that we live in. It's scary times. I'm scared for our kids. I'm scared for their kids. You know, that's why, like, I don't, I kind of want to keep my kids in a bubble. Like, I want to move out in the middle of nowhere and teach them how to farm.
yeah, would that have worked for you?
No, I lived on a farm.
Here's another
I legitimately lived
Yeah,
that
I know.
life.
Flip Dutton. I know.
Okay?
Spurs.
Spurs,
I know, dude.
cowboy hat.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, sheep shit up to my shins.
Yeah.
Okay?
A good old boy.
Yeah. Yeah. I even had the big league chew, trying to be one of the big boys on my lip.
Grape?
Of course.
Why not?
Of course.
What would you go with? Why would I even think anything else? Of course it's grape.
Has to be.
It's always grape.
Has to be. And my other favorite, when I went to the barber shop, he used to give me the candy cigarettes.
Oh my God.
And I used to cowboy boot on the wall. Candy cigarette.
I would burn through an entire carton of candy cigarettes in a weekend when I was a kid. Okay. Thinking I'm the coolest thing smoking.
Oh, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smoking Smarties. You rub the Smarties together, get a little hit off it, a little sugar hit, you know what I mean? A little bit of that lung sugar.
Yeah. But it's something that, and this is big picture. This is big picture. But, like, it's shit like this that really matters.
Yeah.
I told you that, I always believed whoever said money doesn't buy happiness just doesn't have enough. That's how 33 years of my life, I lived with that mindset until my daughter was in the NICU and the doctor told me, it's up to her. No, nothing you can do.
No amount of money in the world.
None. She's in the best possible place. It's up to her now. And it changed that perspective for me and made me understand what truly is important. And it's family, and it's friends, and it's relationships, and it's looking out for one another. And it's trying to leave this world a better place than we found it. Right. And right now, as a society, we're failing.
Yeah, how are we going to fix this? How can we leave this place better than how it was when we came into it?
You can't. Like, this world is so far fucked. However, I think the important thing to do is try to inspire change where you can. That's why, like,
for future generations.
But it's the little things that you don't understand. What you do at Christmas time, what your mom used to do, with the backpacks, with the supplies, hand them out to the homeless at Christmas, right? That still, when I hear that, gives me chills, right? And it's one of those things, and not that you do it to make anybody proud, and you don't do it for pats on the back, but like that's like one of those things that, as your friend, like I'm like, damn. Like, that's inspiring, Don't do this. Don't do this.
Why'd you have to bring the packs up, bro?
Don't do this.
God bless.
Don't do it. I'm gonna accidentally.
Cut. Cut. Hey. Got it.
Let me take this booby trap Tiffany left for me. it's that type of thing, that type of idea, right? One of the followers up in Canada, teacher, social worker, got her kids doing it because she felt inspired. It's one of those things we talked about, starting that project Guardian Angel, right?
Yeah.
To kind of catch fire with that. It's things like that we can do that truly matter and that can make a difference. It may not make a difference in our lifetime, but it's things like that our kids are going to look at. You know, like my kids, like, yeah, my Uncle Luke used to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like inspire them. I never forget, I was 6 years old, new to Florida. Me and my mom went to McDonald's for breakfast Saturday morning. There was a homeless guy out front. My mom gave me a $20 bill and she said, go get this to that guy. And I was like, for what? She goes, he needs it more than we do. And I'll never forget going up and handing him that $20 bill and seeing the joy in his eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that stuck with me. And that's why now I try not to. I pull up to a stoplight and they're sitting right there and I'm like, all right, eyes forward.
Yeah.
Eyes forward. And then where's my
Mirrors.
wallet? Where's my wallet? And the next thing I know, hey man.
Out of your control.
Because she inspired and instilled that in me at a young age.
Yeah.
So I think that it is our job to maybe not inspire the older generation, because a lot of them are stuck in their ways. But it's our job to inspire the younger generation. And that's why, like, we got to do something to bring attention to the system that not only let that baby down, lets tons of kids. You remember that fucked up Netflix, God, what was it called?
Caring
Gabriel.
For, oh.
The Gabriel. My wife just watched that. She said that was fucked.
What?
The one you were just talking about.
From Maya?
Yeah.
Yeah, Venice, Florida.
Yeah. But the Gabriel case?
Saint Gabriel.
No. The kid that like the mom's boyfriend and shit, they were like making him eat cat litter and shit. The kid died. Like it was fucked
Insidious.
up.
God bless it.
Okay. But it's situations like that happen all across America.
Yeah.
System is continuously letting these little kids down.
Right.
So like, what do we have to do to not keep up with the Kardashians and keep up with what the fuck's going on with these kids?
Yeah.
That's what we need to be focused on. I don't give two flying fucks about Kanye's wardrobe to the Met Gala. I don't. The fuck does that got to do with anything? When the reality is there's old people that are getting taken advantage of in retirement homes. There's kids that are in living situations that they got no business being in.
Not to mention kids that are brought up in, families that deal with addiction. I got charged with a sales charge at 18 years old and wasn't even offered any type of rehabilitation, none of that. Straight to prison. And that molded my record for the rest of my life. That was anytime I ever got in any contact with the law, it was straight to jail, straight to prison. You know what I mean? I've only had like 2 felonies in my life, and I've gone to prison on both of them.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. It's not just... I don't want to say the name, but it's not just that system. It's the entire legal system.
Yeah.
That needs to change.
Yeah, but and this is the sick part, is it's a money game.
Oh, yeah.
It's a money game.
100%.
I don't know necessarily about the one that looks out for the kids. I mean, I'm sure in some facet, there's some kind of backroom deals that, get made. But absolutely the legal system is in a bad way. Because we're nothing but a number and a dollar sign. And that's it. And the reality is if you shift the focus on, and this is, I'm even going to tie it into step work. And what I mean by that is the whole point of step work is to look at the root cause of the issues. Why is this person, why did I do all this crazy shit? If the legal system took that sort of recourse, right, instead of just banging a gavel and putting you in a cell, you probably have a crazy different outcome. Because I wish we would have looked up the statistics. I don't even know we were going to talk about this, but I think it's something like 70 or 80% of people incarcerated are on drug or related charges.
Right.
That's insane. That's insane.
Yeah.
So why not try and do something to fix that or to rehabilitate that problem as opposed to just continuing the cycle of madness? It's like the homeless people. The homeless people, when COVID hit, they swept up all them homeless people, put them in hotels.
Yeah.
They were everywhere. As soon as COVID was over,
Yeah. See ya.
you're not fixing the problem. You're putting a Band-Aid on a bullet hole.
Right.
Why not try to get to the root cause of what's going on? And listen, there's a number of factors that come into play. There's not enough licensed clinicians, blah, 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 right? So then let's take it a step further, Mr. Universities. Instead of trying to charge $9 billion for somebody to go to school, why don't you give out some free schooling for people to get educated to become those licensed clinicians, to help people the way, at the end of the day, man, and this is the hardest part, we're all human beings. And we all fucking deserve a chance, man. And the fact that there are so many people that are just continuously let down by the system that eventually you lose faith and you just continue in that cycle. You see them 70, 80-year-old fucking homeless people?
Yeah, it's sad.
It's devastating.
That breaks my heart.
Oh, my God. Well, way to be a Debbie Downer.
I'd like to touch on something else.
Okay. I hope it's not depressing.
It's semen retention. Let's touch on. Well, let's not touch on that subject.
Okay. No, you already opened Pandora's box. Boy, oh boy. The Home Group Podcast, the only place where we can talk about how the system's failing the kids, follow it right up with semen retention.
Let's open Pandora's pants.
Okay, so this is something you really want to talk about.
Yeah, so
okay.
I think
okay, first of all, you got a preface. You can't just come out. You just can't fucking open the curtains and say semen retention.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I was buying a ticket for this show.
Yeah. Well, the tickets are free, homie. Okay.
What
tickets for this show are free?
Why are we talking about semen retention?
Because I quit watching pornography recently.
Okay. How long has it been?
And it has been about a week.
Okay.
And I'm retaining semen.
Hence the semen retention.
In my loins. Okay? And
boy, oh boy.
Yeah. And I feel good. I feel real good.
Okay, let's back it up. We got to back it up. What made you decide all of a sudden, one day, I'm cutting porn and I'm keeping my semen?
Oh, well, I mean, it was just an accumulation of, I don't know, like 33 and a half years of masturbation every single day.
So you came out the womb gunning down.
Bro, they called me the baby gunner. I can't. It was a C-section. So, and it wasn't because you know what I mean? It was me. I did that. Okay. They said, oh no, we can't get him out of here. He's gunning. We're going to have to go through the sunroof.
You know what the craziest part is? This episode's not going to get banned from all the crazy shit we talked about the justice system. It's going to get banned from you talking about being a baby gunning out of your mom's stomach. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay?
I gone and the doctor was like, oh!
We got a live one here.
Yeah, so, you know, it's just, it turned into an addiction for me. And I crave that dopamine rush. I'm an addict, dude. And I've said it before, I'll turn anything into an addiction. Anything at all. Especially that, dude. The dopamine rush that you get from that, right? And then immediately afterwards, the disappointment in your own eyes when you're looking in the mirror at yourself. And you're like, what are you doing with your life, dude? Get your fucking life together, Luke. You make me sick. You are a pathetic human being. You know what I mean? And it's everything. And then guess what? Right back at it the next day. And it's just an endless cycle. And it's scary because I think about people that are alcoholics that can just walk into a gas station and get their drug of choice. You know what I mean? And get high. Like, that's terrifying because jerking off is legal. Okay? It's legal and it's free. All right? The water's fine. Come on in. You know what I mean? And it's not even like, it's something that's not even frowned upon. Like, it's encouraged.
Okay.
You know?
Depending on where you're at. I mean,
well,
you get me gunning down just anywhere.
Well, I have a lot of family in Tennessee, so yeah, so I stopped and yep, cuts. Yep, scissors. And so I stopped and I feel my head is less cloudy, I'm more focused. I don't sexualize everything as much. There's more intimacy, there's more spirituality. You know, like I always say, my higher power is a spiritual connection between everybody else. And when the only connection I'm worried about is my hand and my wiener, I lose sight of that spiritual connection with everybody else.
You know what I can't wait for? I can't wait for episode 100 when we have 100 episode cut
Of me saying wiener.
You saying wiener in every single episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I can squeeze a wiener into pretty much anything. So, is this thing on? Are we live?
Not for long. We're not. Not for long. So,
Am I doing too much?
Listen, you started doing too much when you said let's talk about semen retention. Okay.
I mean, also I did a cold plunge.
I did.
I did a cold plunge.
You did a
Flip.
cold plunge, Luke. Yeah? Tell
Yeah.
me about it.
Well,
How'd you hear about a cold plunge?
it was nice.
Did you have anybody talk to you about a cold plunge?
Online ads. I watched one of our videos and it was an ad. Yeah, I went to this place. We did a breathing exercise, box breathing, followed by a cold plunge. Yeah, Flip, I know you did the cold plunge first, okay? Like, it doesn't always have to
I
be.
don't care that I don't care that I did it first. That's not what it's about. I talked to you about it, and you were like, "Duh, that's stupid. How about I do a lukewarm plunge while you do a cold plunge, and we'll see which one's better."
This doesn't always have to be a wiener measuring competition, bro. Okay? Yeah, you did it first.
You know what's
How long did
interesting?
you go for?
You know what's interesting?
How long did you go for?
You ain't been the same since you did that cold plunge. You
I know,
did that
dude.
cold
I
plunge,
quit
and you came out, and you're like, "No more masturbation."
jerking off, all that. How long did you go for?
2 minutes.
Oh.
You went for 3. I thought we're not having a wiener measuring contest.
It's always a wiener measuring contest with me, homeboy.
So you did a cold plunge, and you came out of that water, and you said, "No more. I'm mind, body, and spirit."
Yeah. You know what's crazy is that it wasn't even the cold plunge. It was the breathing
That breathing's
exercise.
next level.
Yeah, me and Ma Dukes used to do it.
Yeah.
Me and Mama used to do breathing.
Did you wear the
exercises.
headphones?
Yeah, of course. She was like, and in and out and in and out. And I was like, "Hoo, hee, hoo, hee, hoo, hee, hoo." I was in it, dog.
Yeah.
I felt like I was in a Le Mans class. Get ready to.
Wait, time out.
Get ready to-
Isn't Le Mans like the F1 car driving fucking race?
No.
Isn't it called Le Mans? M-A-S?
No, I think that's like for like pregos.
Yeah, that's what I was talking
Like
about.
pregnant race car drivers?
You know what?
It's not Le Mans.
No, Le Mans is an F1 race.
Well,
So go ahead. You did your Le Mans class.
Yeah, so I did my Le Mans breathing exercises. And then there was like a 44 degree pool and a 36 degree pool.
Who went in a 44?
Sunny. Shug Studios. Oh,
Sounds about
Sunny
right.
Grant.
Sounds about right. Went in the lukewarm tub.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was like, at like 2.5 minutes, he's like, bro, don't do this.
As soon as you got in the water, take me through it.
As soon as I got in the water, I felt like my toes popped off of my feet, like little missiles.
Were you struggling to breathe?
Yeah, for a second.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I got in, they were like, listen, you got to focus on controlling your breathing, hands on your thighs, right? And so I get down in the water. I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And then,
I'm like, this is hypothermia.
yep, this is
Call
death.
Call an ambulance right now.
And the lady's like, relax,
Get
you're
it,
good. Look at the red light.
dude.
I was in a trance.
Like a minute and a half, I felt warm. I was warm. I looked over at Sonny. I was like, bro, I'm not even cold anymore, right? And I'm like, this is fine. And then I go to stand up out of there, and I'm like, I have no legs. I have no legs anymore. I'm floating above this water. I have no legs. Somebody help me right now. And they had to come and lift me out of it. It was embarrassing.
Well, you didn't tell me that part.
Yeah.
Damn
I had
sure
no
didn't tell me
legs,
that part.
and I had no wiener. And that's why I really stopped.
You left your wiener there.
Sure enough, I don't have a wiener anymore.
Your Audi turned into an innie.
Yeah. Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, this has been an emotional roller coaster of an episode. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, where we at?
We're
I got something else to talk about.
okay.
I got something else.
Okay. I can't wait. Can't wait.
This is serious though. This is serious. So, when I was in my active addiction, the one thing that I remember vividly is that there was no safety anywhere that I was. You couldn't. Sonny jokes around all the time about the chain that I had going through my door and then through the stud in the wall, but that was a real thing, and it was because nowhere in my house was safe. So I tried to create some type of safety in that environment in my bedroom, which still wasn't even safe. And then I go from that environment to a prison, which is there's an air of danger constantly around you, and you're always watching over your shoulder for the inmates, for the guards, for everything. You never know what's going to pop off in there. So I go from that to 3 years of that chaos. And then I get out, and the first thing that I remember when I got out was setting my wallet down on the dresser at Sonny's house, and I had to tell myself, this is okay. I had to reassure myself multiple times. I remember I said it out loud. This is okay. Like, I'm good. And like I left the room, and I like came back in, and I had like a stare down with my wallet. Like, is it though? We're okay, right? Is everything gonna be okay? And that's the first thing that came to mind when I talk about like gratitude and the things that I'm grateful for. Just the safety that I have, that this program has given me, to be able to just leave things laying around, right? And to be able to go home and set my keys down, or set anything down on the table. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say.
I love it.
And it had nothing to do with wieners. So, what do you got? What do you got, Flip?
Well, I don't have anything involving wieners.
Yeah, you do.
No, I love that though, and that's one thing that like I try to tell the people in active addiction all the time. Like, dude, and you know this, I just got a call from somebody that it hits close to home for us. I'm not gonna say the specifics because then it would give it away, but I got a call from this gentleman who said, "Hey, listen, man, I just put 4 new tires on my van, and I got in my car, and I know what new tires feel like." And I said, "Hey, when's the last time you've been to sleep?" He said, "I'm not going to lie to you. It's been a while." Right?
Yeah.
And I said,
Been there.
I said, "Okay."
Totally.
He
been
said, "I'm just not in a safe place.
there.
I'm around a bunch of people who are out to get me,
Yeah, bro.
and I don't know what to do." And I said, "Well,
God bless.
you know what to do because you were just doing it. So you need to Baker act yourself, Marchman act yourself. You need to get help, and you need to get plugged back in. That's what you have to do." And like, I want so badly to shake those people because this side of the street is sweet.
As soon as you cross back over, you forget that.
Of course. Just like when you're on this side, sometimes you forget about that.
Right.
Sometimes I forget how fast I can be on that side of the street.
Right. And how bad it was.
I mean, listen, my wife is in 6,700 college courses right now at once. She's working full-time at the restaurant. She's doing real estate.
Yeah.
Okay. I am trying to keep up with myself, trying to take care of the kids, trying to keep my house in somewhat civil order.
You ever do any semen retention?
You know, after your wonderful explanation, I might just.
Vincent Van Gogh.
You know, the one that I was most impressed about on that list was Nikola.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm not saying that I'm sure. I'm saying that this is fact. If I did semen retention, I'm inventing the next electricity.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah. Out of your wiener. You know, they started calling Vincent Van Gogh when everybody caught on to how he was so smart. They called him Vincent Hand No. And that's how you end in that.
Do you ever think maybe that's why he cut his ear off? Was because he was retaining his semen. He couldn't take it. He said, "I gotta feel something sink." Ladies and gentlemen, we love each and every one of you. I have no idea what even just happened. We love you guys. Live, Patreons, we love you guys. Not sure what's going on because the phone's too far away. I can't read. So sorry about that.
Love you guys.
Episode 15 in the books. We made it.
Episode 15.
You know what time it is.
If you have today, give yourself a no.
Oh, God. Oh, my back's cramping.